Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Vino Frankel, a Taste of Sculpterra. I'm your host, Paul Frankel. Happy to be here today. We're filming this on Tuesday. You're going to listen to this on Thursday. I appreciate you tuning in to our Sculpterra Airway, vineyard winemaking, grape growing, wine industry, nerd out on wine. Everything we talk about is wine related here on this podcast in Paso, Robles, coming to you from the podcast studios of Miguel Nunez down here in Paso Robles. So thank you, Miguel. You're doing a great job. It's our 28th episode. So we're moving right along, having a great time doing it. Yep. Love it, love it, love it. I don't always make sense, but I make wine. And remember, I park far away, so you don't have to. That's right. If you see me in a parking lot, don't worry. You can have the spot right up next to the store. I'll park a little far away, and I can stretch my legs. I have to sit. I have to sit down a lot in my job, so I'm happy to walk around. All right. Well, Paul Ackerman of the Bottle Meister. We do all of our bottling with them, with the Bottle Meister. He's not here today. He was supposed to be here, but he got sick, so it's unfortunate. He feels bad, but he will join us probably in the fall. He's the manager of the Bottle Meister. He's done it for 15 years, I believe. So he knows the in and outs of the bottling truck, and he trains the crew on how to bottle. Because today I want to talk about all the bottling we do and really give you an insight on what we do to prep for bottling, what we do the day of bottling, because it's such a big part of the wine industry. It's that final touch, the final step you take before the wine is available and being sold. So Paul's not here today. He will be here later in the fall, but Steven Salazar is coming. Steve Salazar is a really good friend of mine. He's my compadre, and he opened up a golf business. It's called Paso Par Indoor Golf, where you hit a ball against the screen. It gives you stats. You can play golf on a simulator, and he opened right here in Paso, right by Walmart, or he's opening in a couple weeks, and he's going to come in and talk a little bit about it. I love to golf. He's teaching his kids golf, and it's a really interesting business. I'm really happy for him. So, but I do have one of our employees in the studio today. Say hi to Darren Brown, our assistant tasting room manager. All right, thank you, Darren. Yep. Thanks for being back. Darren, as you know, is like me, knows a lot about wine, loves wine, and we're going to focus on Grenache. We make Grenache, make it every year. We have an incredible vineyard, just an acre and a half, and we do a lot with that acre and a half. It produces a lot. I was just thinking about this the other day. I did a soils test in that vineyard before we did any planting. So we ripped the ground and disked the dirt and churned up all the soil. And then I called up a soils guy from a lab here in Paso. And he checked the first 12 inches of soil, then 24, 36 inches. He went down and he gives you analysis of everything in the soil. And he looked at me, he said, "You can grow anything in this site. You don't have to be concerned, or you don't have to think about what type of grape you want to plant here. This is a fantastic site." And he was right. I feel that if we would have planted Cabernet there, if we would have planted Petit Syrah, anything we would have planted there would just come out amazing. It's got a natural outlet for the air as it goes down Green Canyon. It has a west side slope and an east side slope. It looks like an open book. Just a really special site. So our Grenache, comes out great mainly because of the site. So we're going to try that. We're also going to try our Reposé 2018, which is Mourvèdre Grenache Petit Syrah blend back from 2018. Because, again, people ask me all the time, how long can your wines age? What do you do with your old wines? When should I drink them? Well, we'll try this one today, which is now 8 years old, and see how it's tasting. And I think, Darren, you brought a Spanish wine?
I did, yeah. Grenache from its home area in Spain, so it should be a fun try.
And for my research, Grenache is the most planted grape in the world. Is that true?
It's certainly up there. It's one of them. It's a popular grape because you get high yields. So, it was always popular for bulk wine for that reason. But with the the right clones and the right conditions, it can make incredible wine.
Yes, and the one thing about Grenache that I've learned and I've heard from a lot of winemakers is it has natural acidity, has high natural acidity. So it's the pH, for example. It'll have a finished pH of 3.3 to 3.5 typically without having to add acid to it. That's just the natural acidity of the grape. So the wine could become too tart, but that's why in these GSM Rhone blends, it's ideal because Mourvèdre and Syrah lacks acid. It's usually a high pH, high Brix. Well, you add some Grenache that you made that has low pH and it's just complex, balances it out. So it's a great tool in a Rhone blend, and it provides the acid in a wine that may lack acid. So Grenache is fabulous. I can't wait to try these. Well, little update in the vineyard and winery. We had some hot weather, really hot weather the last 2 weeks. So we reached 100 degrees in my truck. I don't know if it was 100 degrees outside. It was pretty close a couple of those afternoons. It was in the 90s, high 90s. So I mean, everything is growing. The vines are just happily pushing out shoots and tendrils and clusters and leaves. I mean, you can almost see the vines growing in front of your eyes. You know, they go from a couple inches of shoot growth to it looks like a foot out there. So right now it's a chance of rain. Don't know if it's going to happen, but there was a chance of rain. The good news is this is a storm from the south. It's a tropical front that's happening, so it's not going to freeze. At least I don't believe it's going to freeze. I got a call from another winemaker, and he said he's worried about Thursday morning. So the day that you're watching this podcast, there's he thinks there's a chance of freeze. I don't think it's going to come close to a frost. It's saying maybe 38 degrees, but we have to get below 32 to really have an impact and do any damage to the vines. So this is that time, though. This is our crucial moment of the vineyard for this growing season that we don't want any freezing to occur. But this seems like once we get past this week into the weekend, we'll be home clear and everything that's growing should bear fruit and should set us up nicely for the rest of the year. I had a varietal wine night at the tasting room on Friday, which was fun, where myself and the staff tried over 25 wines from the 2025 vintage. So really neat, really fun. I invited any of you to, if you send me an email, you can come and join. We had plenty of food. So yeah, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, because I'm going to give you opportunities to join us in these exclusive tasting events. We tried 25 wines. We had pizza. We had a dessert at the end. Great time. And it was educational. It was good because our staff had an opportunity to ask me vineyard questions, and soils questions, and blending questions, and kind of an update of what we're doing and what I'm doing in the future. Yeah, we're still getting things ready. We have 10,000 Cabernet vines coming, and we're starting to run out of time because the vines are coming in May, and we got to put them in the ground. So we got to get the irrigation tested, up and running, and wires and stakes and tie tape and the white cartons that protect the vines from the rodents from eating the vines. So there's a lot to do. It's always about how you time things in farming. You know, we have our own schedule. I'm trying to plan things out, but when it's hot and things start to grow, we're trying to catch up and get all these vineyard jobs done as fast as we can.
That's a lot of holes to dig to.
It is, and I've seen people do this, and it's incorrect. When you plant a vine, you need to dig the hole and plant the vine in that same moment. If you dig a hole, some people will dig the hole the day prior, but then the ground gets compacted around it and hard, and the roots can't grow. It's got to be when you dig a fresh hole and the ground is soft before it gets compacted and hard all around it. So I've seen and heard of many vineyards that dug the holes a couple days before, planted, and then none of the vines were growing, or a small percentage of them grew. So you have to do it the day of. Dig a fresh hole, bury the vine, and you don't want to... when you plant the vine too, this is a common thing, you pull up on the roots. So you put the vine in the hole and you pull up so the roots don't jay, is what it's called, where the roots, if you plant the vine and push it in too deep, the roots could jay up, and now the roots are pointed at the sky. They're pointed up, and they're not going to grow that way. You want the roots to grow down and out to the side. So common mistake. So what we do is we plant the vine, and then we just pull up a bit, and then we push the dirt around it, and that way we know that the roots are going down into the soil, doing their job. We just racked the wine this morning. My second lot of Primitivo, which is 16.5% alcohol. So it didn't finish malolactic fermentation. I thought it would, but it didn't. I even put the barrels outside the last 2 weeks when it was super hot to heat up the wine, and that helped a little bit, but it's struggling to finish malolactic. So we went ahead and racked it and returned it, and I'm just going to blend that in with my Arroway Primitivo and our Sculpterra Primitivo. The good news is the wine tastes great because it's so high alcohol and it's full-bodied and ripe and lush. Even though it didn't finish malolactic fermentation, you don't really notice it. It tastes great. And we tried it with the staff on Friday night, and nobody said anything. No one said, hey, is this wine still fermenting, active? There's something different about this one. It just was fine. And a lot of the Zinfandels in Paso don't finish malolactic fermentation. There's Turley, Darren. Do you remember Turley?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of their Zinfandels. They don't even try
ones
to finish malolactic fermentation. Anything over 16% alcohol, if you can get it to complete malolactic, that's great. If you can't, then when we talk about bottling, that's what I'm going to talk about. Is you have to get the wine cross-flowed and get it filtered so that it can't fire off and go through malolactic fermentation in the bottle. So it didn't finish malolactic. It's all right. We racked it and returned it to the barrels, and now everything's done. So everything is, now I'm making my plans of all the 2025 reds, what we're bottling. We're bottling 11 wines from 2025, and I've pretty much figured each one out. So there we go. Well, Grenache. Let's move on. Paul was going to be here. He's not, so I was going to ask him some questions. So instead of moving to that, we're going to taste Grenache, and then we will discuss it. So we'll start with our Sculpterra 2022, which is a library wine.
Yes.
Just became a library wine recently. Okay. Okay, you got it. All right, Grenache. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention about Grenache is that it is a fast fermenter, very fast fermenter. And it ferments hot, really hot. So temperature control is key when you're adding yeast and monitoring the fermentation. But, I mean, it'll go from, let's say we pick it at 24 bricks. It could move from 20 bricks to 10 bricks in one day or less than a day. Oof. And it can get so hot that the yeast could heat up and die. It can go up to 100 degrees if you're not chilling it or fermenting a small amount of it to keep it from getting too hot. But it ferments well, and it's just very healthy. Every Grenache I've ever made, man, the fermentation flies by, it goes dry, the aromas, the phenolics, it's all intact. There's no H2S or a funky odd taste to it. It's just a fantastic grape. Grenache 22. Yes. So like all of our Grenaches, I add Petite Syrah to it. I like doing that. This has I think it's 8%, if I'm not mistaken. Darren can tell us.
12%
12% Petite Syrah.
And it's still the color relatively, typical Grenache. I mean, it can vary, as we'll find out with the next one we compare it to. Typically, Grenache tends to be high yielding, relatively light in color. It can have body because it can get high in alcohol. Mm-hmm. But I love Grenache as a kind of earlier in the day, not necessarily, don't condone breakfast wine necessarily, but lunchtime, charcuterie kind of wine, tapas, perfect wine for that.
Yeah, and it's nice served chilled or cold. It's complemented by giving it a little chill to it.
Yeah.
Grenache 22. So if you're at the tasting room, we're currently selling the 2023, which Costco may be buying our 2023 Grenache. Yes, which is exciting. So they may take the rest of what we have. They're looking to buy maybe 6 to 8 pallets, which is good. It's exciting. And I bottled the 2024 in May of last year. So if Costco takes what's left of the 23, we'll move to the 2024. And then I'm bottling the 2025 in August. So that's what's nice also about Grenache is that we bottle it young. It only gets 8 months in barrel, maybe a year in barrel. And it doesn't need more time than that, at least in my winemaking style and the way that I like to have it.
Smells so good. It's like strawberry jam.
It's funny. We were tasting Syrah. I had a Francois of Demptos Cooperage. Maybe you saw the shorts that we did. And I did a barrel tasting with him, and we tasted Grenache, and we tasted our Syrah, and it was the 2024 Syrah, 2025 Syrah. No, I'm sorry. It was 2024. Yeah. It's going to be blended in our Statuesque blend. So I gave him a barrel tasting of the 2024 Syrah and a new Hungarian punch on. And the first thing he does, he tastes it and he just says, "Wine is ready." And he had this, and he's right. I don't think that Syrah in Paso needs to age for years and years in the barrel. It just doesn't, it's our climate, our soils, whatever it is. Like Grenache, it tastes great young. You don't need to leave it in the barrel for 3+ years, and you could tell. I mean, he tried it. He's a master cooper, and we tried it together, and it's like, yeah, this wine has come together nicely. And he said something. He said you don't taste the oak, but you feel the oak, like how the integration is there without it coming through too strong. Like you sense the oak, but you don't smell the oak. And it was a great way to describe it. And he's right. So that's Syrah we're bottling in May and next month, and that's part of our Statuesque blend. All right. Now we have a second Grenache.
Yes. So yeah, this one I found at Grapes and Grain locally. Awesome wine store, by the way. I've got some of ours. So this is... So Grenache is said to come from a region of Spain called Aragon. In particular, within that region, Calatayud. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is the region that this comes from. Their vines tend to grow at very high elevation. So... upwards of 2,500 feet elevation, and they're old vines as well, slate soils. So typically you think of Grenache as being relatively light wine.
Wow.
This is not what I'd consider usually typical Grenache. It's I guess with anything, if you have lower yields and more concentration, you get a different wine to what you might consider to be Grenache usually.
I wonder what the clusters look like, if they're big berries, smaller berries, or if there's less clusters per vine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a great dark color to it and a totally different nose than ours. I mean, ours is bright, young, fresh, and fruity, even being a 2022. This is a 2021, correct? So it's not, it's only a year older, but it smells a lot older to me. It definitely has that fig and prune and dried fruit component to it.
Try and guess the wine just by the color, I'd probably think maybe Mourvèdre. Not Grenache. It's
Yeah, totally different smelling wine than ours. It's different end of the spectrum. Wow, yeah. I like the taste better than the nose. I'm always, when I analyze wine, I'm always trying to match what I smell with what I taste with what I feel. So I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about the nose, but the mouthfeel and finish are really nice. Definitely dry. I don't get any sweetness on the palate.
Yeah, there's definitely an earthy character, some dried fruit.
It almost reminds me of our Primitivo port a little bit. There's some quality to it that is reminiscent of our port.
Right, yeah, a little bottle aging.
I think maybe they use some older barrels to it.
Maybe, yeah, because
there's an older
that's what I love about your labelings, like they put what kind of barrels, and this 18 months French oak was all I could find, but all new, partial new, don't know.
Yeah, it's a nice wine. That's cool. It's fun. I mean, trying wines of the world and expanding your palate. Something I need to do because I always learn and enjoy other wines. Darren, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you at the end here is what wines of the world are you interested in trying or haven't you tried that you're dying to taste?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm always looking for something new to try, new regions. I do love wines from Rioja, from Bordeaux, but not that I've tried them all, but there's so many regions I haven't tried yet that I'd like to get into more. I've tried Hermitage Syrah recently. I'd love to try Côte Rôtie. I haven't yet. And then Italy is its whole different thing. So many different grape varieties that very few people know about, and regions, and there's a whole world to try out there.
Craig Pearson, we all know Craig very well. Craig asked me yesterday, he said someone stopped him at the supermarket and said, what is Italy known for? If Italy had one wine, what would you say? Is it Zinfandel? I mean, is it
I
Nebbiolo?
guess for red, Sangiovese, of course. The whole region there's a whole bunch of different grape varieties. Of course, everybody knows Chianti for Sangiovese, but other regions grow it too. But in the north of the country, they've got some awesome reds. Northwest, I'm trying to remember. That's where you find like Amarone and that kind of thing from Corvina. But in the south, of course, Primitivo we've done in Puglia. So they've got a huge variation throughout the country in their climates and soils, and each region kind of has its own specialized grape varieties. And of course, white wines too. You get far north, northeast, some awesome white wines. Pinot Grigio, well known, but other varieties too.
All right, I like it. Well, Darren, while you're here, I know you presented a little, you practiced or worked up a Grenache presentation. What is Grenache and the history of Grenache? So,
yeah, where's my little page here? Okay.
Take it away.
Where did we begin? So it's not known for sure, but genetic diversity suggests that Grenache comes from Spain, from Aragon, which is north of Barcelona. The main town in that region is Saragossa. Sorry for the pronunciation. I don't know the lisp very well, the Spanish pronunciation. So they've got the Pyrenees at one side, and then warmer conditions as you get further from the mountains there. And yeah, Grenache is the most widely planted grape variety, a lot of genetic variations within the region. So that's where it's thought to come from. But typically it's considered to be high yielding, warm climate. Of course, it also found its way over the Pyrenees into France and is now the most widely planted red variety in the southern Rhone Valley. And that's where a lot of people know Grenache from, actually is France rather than Spain. Southern Rhone, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Côte de Rhône wines, they are typically a high percentage of Grenache. And mostly because it's high yielding, but if you let it yield too high, then you need to add structure to it with other grape varieties. So in the southern Rhone, Syrah, Mourvèdre, other varieties may be added to give the wine a little more structure. By itself, let's say, it makes for a little lighter wine. It's not hugely tannic. Acidities for higher yielding vines might be more moderate, but as Paul said, we get great acid from ours here. With that lower tannic structure, it makes it a good wine to serve a little chilled. Easygoing wine on the whole, really. It's not like it's a huge cab or petit Syrah. That might not be for everybody. It's a great wine for people who are new to red wine. So its history goes back a long, long time. And of course, it's spread over the years. So Spain, France, also Sardinia off the coast of Italy there. They've got another name for it, but it's a popular grape there. So yeah, it's been in France since the 14th century. And plantings increased after the phylloxera problems there. So that was disease, wiped out a lot of the wine industry, and then they did vines that produced a lot of fruit really quickly. So that's one of the reasons why Grenache is so popular in the south of France. But yeah, Garnacha is the Spanish name. Calatayud is where our wine's from that we tried today, which is kind of home of Grenache. They also grow other varieties, including Carignan and Tempranillo, Merlot, Cab, but Grenache is at least 50% of the plantings there. Introduced in the 1800s to California, but mostly for bulk wine, so it was high-yielding vines. It wasn't all that highly regarded. It wasn't until later on, you think 1980s into 90s, we can thank the Haas family, with their close ties to Chateau Beaucastel in the south of France. They started importing cuttings from France of quality clones, disease-free, great quality fruit. And since then, it's really gained popularity in Paso as part of the GSM blends, but also makes great rosé and varietal wine too. We'll have to get Jason on here someday on the podcast, Jason Haas. I'm sure he's got a lot of stories to do with Grenache. But yeah, now it's become one of the most highly regarded varieties in the region, and Paso is really getting on the map worldwide for Grenache as a variety. So we planted at Sculpterra in 2012. We have our little book-shaped vineyard, an acre and a half up on the hills there. So you said you had the soil samples done. What kind of soils have we got it growing in?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, great site. And when I checked the soils, they were checking for nitrogen levels and potassium and all those nutrients and micronutrients, see if they're present in the soil. And there's a little bit of everything. There's a whole cocktail of healthy nutrients within the soil, and the pH of the soil was where it should be and fine. There's a lot of loam. It's not like the real thick clay with the high water retention that we have in the valley in some places where it's like concrete. The soil's not that hard, but it's not a lot of sand either. So it's like a perfect loamy in between sand and clay. There's a little bit of limestone, a little bit of shale in certain parts of that. And as you head upwards into in the Primitivo, you see a lot more. Oh, I see Steven. Come on in, Steven. You're going to sit next to Darren over here.
Hey.
Awesome.
Hey,
Hello.
How's it going?
Hi, Darren.
We have our first pop in at the studio.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, look at
what a
that.
setup. Look at
You know what to do and everything with the mic.
It wouldn't be the first time in front of a mic.
Yeah, get it about a couple inches away from you here to your mouth. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, we're talking about our Grenache wines. We talked
Wonderful.
sharing the history of Grenache. Also, Darren, did you know, you didn't mention that it's Grenache Noir, there's Grenache Noir and Grenache Blanc. And Grenache Blanc is an excellent grape. If I was going to plant other varieties down the road and wanted to try something else, I'm huge Grenache Blanc fan.
Right. Yeah, the Grenache Blanc be a mutation, because in Spain, Garnacha Tinta, in France, Grenache Noir. There's also another Grenache variety with more pigmentation. I'm not sure it's a mutation. I'll have to look that up. Tintorera, I think that's called. And that might be another name for Alicante Boucher, which is not one we grow, but really pigmented grape, a lot of color. Typical characteristics of Grenache: jammy red fruit, a lot of strawberry, raspberry, lower yields, higher elevation, more dark fruit focused, as we've just tried. But lower tannins. So it's a wine that serves well, slightly chilled, pairs with just about anything. Really easy wine to enjoy.
Okay, cool. And we just tasted some, and we're going to taste more at the end. And wonderful. Love Grenache. Anything else there? Anything that I missed or that I pushed you through?
Yeah, I had some questions down here. I can just about read it. My eyes are bad today. so how do you treat Grenache in the vineyard? Do you find it has any problems with like diseases or pests that are unique or more problematic to Grenache?
Yeah, the one thing we did that I wish we did differently is we spaced the vines 4 feet by 10, 10-foot rows, and only 4 feet in between each vines. Because at the time, high density planting was all the rage in Paso. People were talking about, oh, you should plant more vines per acre. They compete with each other. They produce less tonnage per vine, but it balances out. And I wish we had more space because the vines have a lot of vigor, a lot of growth. If we would have done, 10 by 6 or even 10 by 8, and because we end up having to do a lot of shoot thinning, we end up eliminating a lot of vigor. So it's like the vine is telling us that it wants to grow. It wants to produce a lot of shoots and leaves, and it has potential to hang a lot of fruit. And then we're going through and eliminating growth, telling the vine not to grow as much as it's growing. But the vine is saying it can grow, it can support it. And it wants to grow more. It just has a lot of vigor, super healthy. So I wish we would have spaced it out a little bit more because we have to go through and eliminate shoots to give space around the clusters, leaf pull, but it doesn't get mildew. It seems that mildew doesn't show up most of the time. We get a lot of wind in that block, so that helps a lot. And we get a lot of heat in the summer and extended sunlight hours, being that it's so high up on the hill. The sun doesn't set until late in the day in the summer. So fantastic site. But yeah, one thing we do is we shoot thin, leaf pull. We don't drop fruit. Typically we, like I said, the vines have so much growing potential that there's no problem making sugar, making bricks in the fall. But we do have to wait. We do typically pick our Grenache the same time as we're picking Cabernet. So, it's October usually, not August or September, but mid-October. So it's because it supports a big crop, it takes a while to get ripe, but it always makes it. I'm always surprised, and what's beautiful is it'll go up half a brick a week or 1 brick a week. It never spikes up. It'll go from 23, 23 and a half, 24, 25. It's just a nice gradual. And then whenever we pick it, this is fun too. When we pick it, sometimes we'll harvest grapes and we think it's 26 bricks and we pick it. It was only 24, which makes a big difference. But with Grenache, if it's 26 bricks and we sampled it and we crushed it, it's 26 bricks. So it's really, really uniform, berry to berry and vine to vine, cluster to cluster. It's really consistent. So I love it.
Something right. We've got a lot of awards on Grenache.
That's true.
Double golds, multiple competitions, and 93 wine enthusiasts.
We got a 94.
Oh, 94, of course.
23.
Yeah.
This wine got a 93, the 22. So it's done remarkably well.
Excellent.
Many years in a row. All right. Well, we have a guest. If you didn't see him walk in, Steven Salazar, good friend, awesome guy. And I asked him to come because he likes wine, of course. He's a wine drinker. And he opened a new business, a indoor golfing business, Paso Par Indoor Golf. Did I get the name right?
That's it, right? Paso Par Indoor Golf, yeah.
And you had the soft opening 2 weekends ago on a Sunday.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Thanks for having me, by the way. This is very cool. It's nice to meet Darren. So we had our soft opening about 2 Sundays ago, and it went remarkably well. We had someone there practically every hour, even during my lunch break that we had booked so that I could have a lunch break. I didn't even have a lunch break. I think the wife brought me a sandwich, and so I kind of ate while I was there. But yeah, it went incredibly well. We had anywhere from a guy that was able to swing 117 miles an hour clubhead speed, which is pretty fast, and to a couple of our senior tea ladies that were swinging probably 60 miles an hour. So it was a quite an array of people. We had kids there that were swinging, and it went really, really. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to have our friends and family members come in and take some swings. And you were there a couple of days before that with Abraham, and and swinging the clubs around. And then, or that morning, I think you guys were like our first booking that morning. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun to see you guys there. Yeah, and so we were there all day, pretty much till about 8 o'clock in the evening. And it was a huge success. So come and check us out. We have a little website that my wife's kind of put together, pasoparindoorgolf.com.
How did you think of this concept?
Well, it's really popular in Korea and in the Asian countries. I think it blew up maybe 15, 20 years ago there.
Wow.
Yeah, and so little by little, it started making its way to the U.S. And I think right after COVID, they started blowing up all over the country. And I thought, this would be a great idea to do. And also, I play with my buddies. One lives in Southern California, one lives in the Central Valley. And we would play at least once a year, twice a year. And they were significantly better golfers than me. And then little by little, like I started like playing as good as them. And then I was doing a little bit better than them. And then they started beating me again. And I was like, it's either my game or there's something that they're doing that I'm not. So I asked them, I was like, hey, so what's the secret here? Well, how come you guys are doing a lot better now? And they both answered the same way. They said, well, we got an indoor golf membership, and I go and practice pretty much before work or after work or during a lunch hour. And I thought, wait a minute, indoor golf? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, they're like, well, we book online, we joined up, and we go whenever we want. And it's basically 24 hours, which our facility isn't going to be 24 hours, but I thought the concept was really cool. I was like, whoa, you can practice whenever you want. And so little by little, they started beating me by a stroke, 2 strokes, 3 strokes. And I thought, I need to get a membership. And of course, at the time, this is probably like 2 years ago, there wasn't anything like this around here, except for San Luis Obispo has that outdoor swing time, I think they call it. But I thought that needed to be brought indoor, right? Just like what they were doing, because you could practice at nighttime, you could practice in the morning, you could practice when it rains. And I thought, okay, we need to open something like this. So I brought the idea to my wife, and she was like, hey, if you think you could do it, let's do it. So here we are a couple of years later, and we got the keys in February and been building everything from scratch. So we're going to be using TrackMan technology for a lot of the golfers that know golf. They know TrackMan, so we're doing that, and here we are. We're ready to open, hopefully in a couple weeks, officially open to the public. But right now, if you want, you could join our First Access website, and then we can hook you up with a little tour, show you. It's a modest little 900 square feet of space, but you could essentially rent out the whole little building and have up to 8 players and play some games, hit the driving range, practice as much as your heart's content, you know?
And people can do it on their own. They can just show up. You don't have to be there. And they can,
right.
They have to turn on the computer, turn on the projector, the camera, it all turns on.
Yeah,
have
so
the grass they hit off of.
Yeah, the concept is you would sign up online. You would then get an access code to go into the door. So you get this access code, you would punch it into the door, you'd walk right in, you'd go to the computer, punch in your code to the computer, everything turns on, and you can have the whole facility for an hour or two to practice. Yeah.
What is the wall made out of that you hit the ball into that it can withstand?
So the screen is like a very, very tightly woven net. So just imagine that they use like hundreds of miles of woven material to make this screen. Essentially, it's like a really tight net. And it could withstand up to like 260 mile per hour ball speed or something crazy like that. And your average player, like you or I, can hit it maybe 140 to 150 miles per hour. But like the gentleman that I came in on Sunday, he hits it about 180 miles per hour ball speed, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I like about it, because I love playing golf, and a lot of winemakers or a lot of people in the wine industry like golf. I mean, golf is like a part of the wine industry. There's golf wine competitions and this sort of thing. But yeah, what's cool is you get a readout of everything that you're doing. So you hit the ball, it tells you how many rotations the ball's going, if you're hooking it or slicing it, your smash factor, your angle. So you can really start to learn, like, oh, I'm hitting the ball this way because I'm coming over the top, or I'm swinging into out or out to in, and you could adjust your feet. So instead of instead of going to a coach, you can kind of coach yourself by looking at the screen. Does it have like tools that'll help you to like aids kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think there's you can order some AI video footage, which we haven't got there yet, but eventually, hopefully, have some AI coaching assistance. But they're also integrated into the system. There's a camera that shows you your path of the club. So it shows you essentially if you're coming over the top or you're coming under, or if you're right on, or hitting it off the toe, off the heel. And I think all that is very helpful, just visually being able to see what your club head is doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't understand like the numbers. Like if you don't know what the numbers mean, then they're kind of pointless, right?
Right.
But you know that when you're swinging and it's hitting the toe of the club, you're like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't be doing that. So you try to adjust. Like you said, you essentially try to coach yourself if you can. But hopefully in the future we can team up with a couple of coaches and they can come in and use all those numbers and all those variances and kind of try to help you out with the actual coach there, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense to supplement this with your regular golf game. Like if you go out and play golf a couple days a week, and then you do this once a week to kind of hone in your hitting and really start to understand. And I know you're working with a couple of the high school teams that have contacted you, and they're going to do that too.
Yeah.
And use the facility.
With
the high
so we're
schoolers.
hoping to get the Templeton High School team in. Shout out to the Eagles, and then hopefully get a couple other coaches that can do some private lessons and maybe some junior golfers and get them in there and do some swinging. You know. Yeah.
All right. Love it. Well, one more time, Stephen, tell us who you are, where you are.
I
what you're
am
doing.
Steven Salazar. It's Paso Par Indoor Golf, and we're right next to the Kohl's, in between Kohl's and Subway. So we're right in the middle, right in the corner. So we're looking at having all the good golfers and the beginner golfers come on out and give us a try.
What about you, Darren? Have you golfed? Are you a golfer?
I tried it once when I was maybe 10.
I think we need to get him out there again. You're
It
due.
sounds like a safer environment to learn how to hit the thing without causing damage, injury, that kind of stuff.
So interesting that you bring that up, because like Paul was saying, there's a lot of padding. There's padding on both walls right before you hit into the screen. There's a net that covers the ceiling, so it's very well protected.
Yeah.
And so there was a gentleman that came in this morning and tested out everything again. You know, I left. He came in this morning and was hitting a ball below the screen, above the screen, so he hit pretty much every angle that you could
Instead of straight into the screen.
and everything was safe, which is the idea. That's the concept, is you can go in there and feel like, you know, obviously no one will be watching unless, you know, you bring some friends over, but the idea is that you have a safe, fun, a judgment-free zone to be able to swing and have fun and get a little practice in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels great when you hit a ball straight and you see it going, and it's just like, and then you want to repeat it and you want to do it. But those first couple months learning golf, I mean, I don't think anyone walks up and is a natural. It's just it takes
And
a lot
Paul's
of reps.
a great golfer. He's a great golfer. Yeah. He went in there and he said, I hit this club this far, and I said, oh, do you really? And his first swing, of course, it landed right at that number. I was like, oh, that's impressive that he knew that.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Can you hang out and stick around?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. We're going to talk about bottling. We are supposed to have Paul from the Bottle Meister here today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So I was going to talk about bottling. And have you seen the bottling truck? Have you seen that before? So it's interesting when we don't own our own bottling equipment. So when it's time to bottle, we essentially pay the day for the truck and trailer to show up, and they've got all the bottling stuff in the line where you fill, cork, applies the capsules, you dump the glass on one end, and then the glass comes back on that same end. It goes around a conveyor and everything. So that's the mobile bottling line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's we book them February, May, August, December, so they come out one of those days, each time, and bottle for us. And bottling's dangerous, interestingly enough. Like it's there's a lot of activity, a lot of action, and like I mentioned earlier, everything's led up to that moment. So a lot of prep before bottling. We've pumped the wine out of barrel. We've pre-filtered it, cross-flow filtered it. The wine gets pumped into the truck. It goes through a 0.45 micron filter, which makes it sterile. 0.45 micron is, you can go tighter than 0.45 micron, but you think about how small a micron is. So it's basically, there's nothing that's getting into the wine, and that includes yeast, bacteria, fungi. It's not 100% sterile because there's nothing in life that's 100%, but it's very clean, and there shouldn't be anything getting into the wine when you're bottling if you're going through a 0.45 micron filter. But another thing is everyone needs to show up to the bottling, right? So I call all the workers, but the day before, I'm like, okay, don't forget, we're bottling tomorrow. We're starting at 6:15. Get there at 6 a.m. If you want to come early to get coffee, do that. But we're starting at 6:15. You can't call in sick. Everyone has to show up. And then when we're bottling, we all meet right beforehand. And then I'm showing them, okay, these are the corks we're using, the capsules we're using. We're bottling this wine right now. We're bottling maquette, and then we're doing figurine, and then statuesque. If they hand you the wrong bottle to fill, don't fill that. We don't want to put the wrong wine in the wrong bottle. That's my biggest fear. And that's happened. It hasn't happened to us, but I've heard it happening to wineries. Or they connect to the wrong tank. So they're, they got all the wines prepped in tanks. You connect to the tank of Pinot at your bottling Petite Syrah, and you're putting Petite Syrah on Pinot Noir label. So, so I'm double checking, triple checking. Did I connect to the right tank? Did I give them the right corks? Did I do all this? So, and it takes a lot of people. Usually there's 6 people inside the truck, and then there's 4 people outside the truck, and we've got the forklift, so we're lifting up pallets of glass. We're moving full pallets into the warehouse. We have to have a plan. We have to plan everything out, and we must stick to the plan. It must all go well. It's either like you had better prepare or you prepare to fail kind of thing, So a lot of prepping. And then the supplies, there's lots of supplies. We have corks, capsules, glass, labels, case box, cases, stickers, earplugs, gloves, the tape gun, all these supplies. We're always counting supplies, making sure, did we get everything? We got everything. We can bottle. So, I think bottling is the most. It's very stressful, and it's like leading up to bottling is. Then it's like the day of the bottling, and then you see it all going, and everything's working out. Then I can take a breath, but it can be very stressful. So.
Sounds like some good indoor golf would help you out with that.
With that stress.
It's noisy, frantic work and there's no let up.
And there's been a lot of changes in the bottling industry. There's been canned wine. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Rosé in a can, white wine in a can. Opolo does this. They can wine. Castoro's been canning wine. It's a trend with young people. It's just wine in a can. I wouldn't do it, but other people do. So they have to figure out, not every bottling line can wine. That you have to have different parts and different. You have to be able to can it. I don't know exactly what the there's different things involved.
It's got to be a difference.
It's not. It doesn't have a corker. It doesn't have a filler. It gets filled in cans. So that's all different. Wow. So then bottling, if Paul from the Bottle Meister is here, I wanted to ask him about multiple lots. So I know there's lots of wineries, like they'll they'll come to a winery that's bottling 10 wines in one day, and they're all 100 cases, 80 cases, 70 cases. So by the time they start one wine, they finish it in about 10 minutes. They're starting another wine. And it's just back and forth, and they're changing glass, changing screw caps, changing labels, changing corks. And they have to make sure they empty the bowl. So you don't want to have one wine getting into the next wine. So every time you finish a wine, they drain everything to get the wine out of the system. And then they fill up again with the new wine, bottle, and then so they do things like that where they bottle for a lot of small wineries, and it's a lot of changes. And then they do bottlings for big wineries where they're bottling one wine for a week. They're bottling 2,500 cases a day, same wine, same mold, same glass, same cork for a week straight. Because you could do about 2,500 cases a day.
Wow.
In a 9-hour day. So. It's cool. It's really hard work.
It's a long day.
I'd like to work on a bottling line. I ever thought if I did another job because it's you get to drive a truck. You're at a new facility every day. But I know they've told me they're always impressed when I give them our schedule. So they show up and I give them a piece of paper saying these are the four wines we're bottling. It breaks it all down, and they say, why can't everybody give us this? We show up at a winery. And we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're bottling. We don't know what parts we need. We're just in the dark. And they ask the wineries a month ahead of time. They send us an email and say, yep, you're scheduled to bottle May 13th and 14th. Fill this out. Send it back. And because sometimes that bottling truck can't do what you're asking to do. Or they don't. Yeah, they just imagine it's like you show up to work. Don't know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to find. So
sounds familiar to me.
So these guys love us because we always have workers. We're always ready.
That's good.
We start early. We have a schedule.
Yeah.
So they're not in the dark. They know what to do. There's a lot of changes. Like you can bottle with cork, screw cap, capsules, push top corks. So, and those all involve, they have to swap out parts on the bottling line and molds that'll grab the bottle. So if it's a thick bottom bottle or a skinny bottle, they have to change things out. And each change takes about half an hour if they're making big changes. So, What about you, Darren? I know you've made home wine, done your own bottling. What's been your experience?
Yeah, home bottling, it's a lot slower for one, because the truck is doing about 70, 80 bottles a minute. Most likely, yeah. Home, let's just try not to overfill it too much, and making sure the bottles are clean or whatever. So I mean, what do they do as regards like sterility? Do they sterilize the bottles when they come in?
They don't sterilize the
so I know the wine
bottles. That's up to us. Yeah,
right.
But we buy the bottles new, and they're clean. There's nothing been happened to them. But the truck comes and before they start bottling, they have to show up an hour and a half earlier. So if we say we're starting at 6:30, they show up at 5 a.m. because they have to steam everything. It takes up to half an hour to build up steam. They steam at 200 degrees for half an hour. So they steam all the stainless parts of the truck. And then if I request it, they'll give me a paper, a certified clean report saying this truck has been cleaned at 200 degrees for half an hour. Everything is steamed, because that's another concern. If they just bottled at a winery the day before and that winery had some strange wine, some infected wine, they show up at my place in Paso. They have to sterilize, sanitize every day, and that takes an hour and a half from when they show up to when they're done and the truck's cooled off, and then they could start.
Right.
So everything is clean.
Well, yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
huge. I remember the previous episode when you're talking to the lab ladies about acidic bacteria and stuff. I mean, that would be horrific if it if it got into a whole batch. So. Yeah, good thing too.
The other thing they do, I always tease them, is they take a bottle of each wine that we're bottling. They take one bottle. I have to sign the bottle. So once we start with lot 1, lot 2, whatever, they give me that bottle and I sign it. And so I'm agreeing that this is the right bottle, the right cork, the right wine got put in this bottle. And then they keep it for up to 3 years, they were saying. Because if we ever called them and said, hey, you bottled the wrong wine. No. Remember, Paul, you signed it. We have evidence you signed the bottle.
Yes.
Or if I say the wine went sour, and it happened because of your truck, they could say, oh, let's open the bottle that we have from the day. And I can meet with them. They open it and see, look, there's nothing wrong with the wine. It's the way maybe I'm storing it in a hot room or something. So they have to save them. They have to watch their backs, like an insurance thing. So I asked us, like, well, what do you guys do with all these wines? And they said, oh, we have about a pallet of wine or pallets of wine. They have a Christmas party every couple of years, and they just give it to their employees after a certain amount of years, where they say, all right, it's been 3 years since we bottled that wine. No one called, no one said anything. We assume everything's great, but they keep a bottle of everything that they bottle, and they have 4 trucks bottling every day, bottling multiple wines, so they get a lot of wine.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of wine. Okay. Well, let's talk about the event calendar. I want to do Animals in the Vineyard, but I don't think we're going to have time for that.
We're bummer.
Running out here. But
it's like one of my favorite segments.
Animals in the Vineyard. There's been a lot of animals out recently. Now that it's warm, the animals are alive and well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the event calendar, we have a comedy night on Friday, April 10th. So that's next week coming up.
Oh, cool.
From 7 to 9. And it's clean comedy.
Oh, my favorite kind.
Yes. Yeah. Comedy that we can bring our kids to without being worried.
Sterilize that truck too.
We had a comedy show last year, and it was not clean comedy.
Oh, no.
And some of our guests were, I was uncomfortable. Some of our guests were uncomfortable. And I was thinking, this is really not our style. This might be funny, but...
Got to keep it clean.
Yeah, so these comedians coming from LA, they're real funny, and it's family funny. So bring your family. I think it's $15 for a ticket. Go on our website. You'll see the link. Then we have our...
And that's Wednesday?
No, that's on a Friday.
Oh, on a Friday.
Friday, April 10th.
Oh, cool.
Then the next week is our Greek party, Greek festival at Sculpterra from 12 to 4, Saturday, April 18th. That one's free. You just come, show up. Buy some Greek food. We're teaching Greek dancing. There's music. It should be a nice, beautiful day in the garden. There'll be other food, too. So it's not just Greek food if you want to get some chocolates, tacos, or barbecue. And then I'm doing a winemaker dinner at Oxford Suites. This is the first time doing this. Oxford Suites, the hotel in Paso, right by the post office on 4th and Spring. Yeah. Beautiful hotel.
Yeah.
We stayed there last year to check it out. I was really impressed. And Sean Ellison, the chef who went to Paso High, he graduated a year below me. He's a really good chef. He does all their meals, all their food prep. And so check that out, because that one's on a Thursday night. And there's 5 courses, 5 wines. I always bring extra wines, too, to pour before and after. So love doing that. And they sell our wine at their bar. They have a happy hour every day from 4 to 6. And they give you a little ticket. For being a hotel guest, you get 1 complimentary drink. So people order our drinks, people order our wines, and you can get more wine. So thank you, Oxford Suites.
There you go.
Hoping this is a great dinner. We're getting the word out. And then we have our art fairs, April 25th, the following Saturday, which is turning into be a big event. We've got lots of artists, and we are known for art. Got my elephant shirt on today. We've got the cat. Yeah. So it's a great time. Great time. You'll see a variety of artists come out. So April 25th. This is all happening in April. So, you know what? Let's do this since we have Steve here. Steve's Mexican, speaks Spanish.
Sí.
Miguel back there, habla español.
Sí.
I have a new section or a new segment in the podcast, which I started. It makes sense in Spanish. It doesn't make sense in Spanish. So I'm going through all the things that drive me crazy with the workers and things that I really like. So what about you drink coffee, Darren? Darren's a big coffee drinker. Do you know how to say coffee in Spanish? Steve can tell you.
I think I knew once upon a time.
Steve, what is it? Coffee.
I would assume that it's café.
Café, yeah, which is brown. That's the color brown. Well, so you're drinking a cup of brown?
Marron is also brown.
Right.
Right? That would be like the...
But that's skin. That's brown skin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's...
So it's café.
Yeah, it's just...
Café.
Café is coffee, and café is the color brown. So I tell the workers, did you get your cup of brown today? We're having our brown...
So I guess the color is named after the drink. Yeah. In this case,
like
orange.
Right, orange. There you go, orange. You're eating an orange. It's the color orange.
Yeah.
Does it make sense in Spanish? I guess it does. Café. And a coffee shop is a cafe.
Yeah.
Right.
And you
Cafe,
drink brown.
Right.
Cafe. Coffee. Okay.
That makes sense.
There
Makes
we go.
sense somehow.
It does make sense in Spanish.
In
kind
Espanol.
of. All right. Well, there we go. We've got some questions from Darren. He's going to ask me some questions. And then we're going to try one more wine to finish up today.
Right. Where am I supposed to find my page here?
So,
Possums.
yes. Thanks again for tuning in today. And please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Ask me questions.
Yes.
Ask me some crazy questions because I love it. I love answering questions that you have. And I like to play golf. So thank you, Steve, for being here and talking about his
Thanks
new
for
golf
having me.
business.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
exciting. Thanks for having me on. And I'm learning a little bit more about Grenache and the whole process of cleaning the tanks. That's fascinating stuff.
A lot of cleaning and winemaking. I always tell people you spend more time cleaning than you do
That's
creating.
absolutely true.
You clean
yeah.
everything before you use it. You clean everything after you use it, and then you have a
Yeah.
short time of actually doing the process, for doing the thing you're supposed to
Yeah.
do,
It's all the prep work, right? The prep work. Yeah.
and the cleanup afterwards.
And the cleanup.
big mess.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, final questions here. So do you aerate or decant wine when you're drinking it yourself? Or you just pour it straight in a glass like I do?
Like
I'm always saying this wine benefit from decanting, and then I don't.
Right? Yeah, I don't do that. But Jane Dunn, I talk about Jane Dunn a lot in this podcast. She watches it. She lives in Minnesota. She had all kinds of decanters. She had those huge ones, the long neck and the big bottom, and then tall, skinny, all kinds. And she decants everything, and she'll decant the whole bottle. And then it's nice to pour out of a decanter too. It's just there's no spilling and dripping and that. And it does make a difference. It really does. But I think you have to pour the whole bottle. So if you're not committed, you're not having a evening dinner with a group of people. It does make a nice. It's a nice thing to do. It looks good on the table with the decanting wine, and it definitely makes a difference. All that oxygen and aeration, and the wine is expressed really nicely. But I don't aerate my wines. I also, when I'm drinking our wine, I'm trying to analyze it and think what our customers are doing, and I'm trying to. I'm thinking, okay, is this wine tasting good at this time? Should we be putting this wine on the tasting menu, or should we hold off and maybe bring it on the menu a couple months from now? So I'm trying to imitate how they are drinking the wines. Typically, people just open the bottle and drink a glass, but
Yeah, and I guess if you've got an older wine, then decanting it can help remove sediment before you pour it. So definitely, if you've got, we're trying a 2018 library wine today. So that's got a nice steep shoulder, helps catch the sediment, but decanting a wine that sort of age or older, usually recommended too. So what do we need more of? I know we planted more Viognier recently. Is there is any other wines or that one you want to talk about?
Yes.
That we need more?
Viognier in particular, we need more Viognier and more Vedra. Mourvèdre.
More Mourvèdre.
Mourvèdre, yes. We only have 1.25 acres, and people love it. In fact, the 2024 is being released again in May. We bottled it in December, and we started selling it right away. A lot of people said, you can't sell a wine right away. It's just bottle shock. Like, oh, people want this wine. I've tried it. It's tasting fine. Let's sell it. So we sold quite a bit. We sold so much of it that it's going to be close just to sell it, to have enough for the club shipment in May. I counted everything yesterday and set aside what we need at wine shipping for shipping and what we need for the pickup orders. So it's popular. So I'm planning on planting 3 acres, maybe 4 to 5 max up on the hill, which will be fun because we'll have Mourvèdre in the valley, Mourvèdre on the hill. I'll do different yeast, different barrels, treat them differently, pick them, and handle them a little different, and maybe they'll taste different. And then I'll blend them together, and make them complex. So
yeah, I love the fact that kind of wine is so popular because it's. It can be a tough market when you got a grape variety that not many people know. To have it popular, that's great.
yeah, exactly. All right. Are we ready to taste wine?
Yeah.
All right, Steve.
This is why
you
I
get to
came.
participate. Yeah. All right. Why don't you
Taste
grab
wine.
it, Darren? We're doing it.
Yeah.
You do it. Reposé.
Knock it off. Mess here.
Reposé 2018. While they're getting that ready, I have the percentages written down. It's been so long. I used to remember every wine, every percentage. Not so much anymore.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Reposé. So 2018, this is a library wine. So we're tasting it so we can tell you if you should be buying this wine and drinking it. It is 43% Mourvedre, 28% Grenache, 17 Syrah, and 12% Petite Syrah. So it's a GSM with Petite. The French people in Rhone don't consider Petite Syrah to be a classic Rhone grape. In California, we call Petite Syrah Rhone. I don't know if it's in one of the Hospice de Rhone, if it's in their grouping as a...
No.
If they okay it. They don't okay
No,
it.
no, it's all thanks to the Rhone Rangers over here. And yeah, it's first found in Montpellier, so not in the Rhone Valley. And yeah, they don't like it.
Right. So this wine, this was actually for the early days for me. We bottled a lot. We bottled over 300 cases, 375 cases. This was bottled in December of 2019. It's 12% new American oak. I fermented this in, back then, I didn't have tanks for fermentation. It was all bin or punch-on barrels. So that's what we did. We had half-ton bins, one-ton bins, and then we had some new punch-ons that I fermented this in. So more of the cowboy winemaking, old school winemaking. Back in these were the days of making wine at the tasting room on our little crush pad and real tight squeeze. And we went up to the hill and put tanks off into the road. And it was neat though, because people at the tasting room could look through the window and see us doing
that's cool.
doing everything.
Yeah, yeah,
And then they would open the door. Hey, can we come check that out? And they got to do a punch down. They got to get their hands
that's cool.
in the wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the I Love Lucy episode remember that where she's
She was all like on stomping on the grapes.
Stomping on the grapes. Yeah,
That's
episode.
with the bottling line. People reference I Love Lucy when she's eating all the chocolates.
Oh yeah,
Because bottling is like that. You're grabbing bottles and putting them in the case, but if you don't pay attention, then there's 8 bottles you got to grab, and you only have 2 hands, and you start to get frustrated. You can't keep up, and you don't want to tell the truck to stop. Sometimes they have to stop, and everyone's looking at it. Okay, let's find this person another job.
You knock bottles over on the conveyor and everything. Yeah.
No, that's a bad day.
The bottling truck will go as fast as we can keep up. It's basically how they do it. So they've got 2 operators, one doing the filling and one watching the corker, and they'll turn it up if we can maintain that speed. But if we're struggling, they got to go slow.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll ask them, I'm like, yeah, why aren't we going fast? They said, well, you got this person here needs to probably be switched with this person, and then we'll make some changes to our crew. And everyone's got their own talent.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting too. Is I tell the workers, hey, we're not going to change jobs. Once you learn this job, you're going to do that job because you just became efficient and proficient, and you're excelling at that job. Now I don't want to move you off of the stacking to do the capsules, because then you got to relearn a whole thing, and we're trying to get the whole.
You want to get that flow, right?
Right.
Like you're trying to find the flow. Yeah.
But I understand it, because you get tired of doing the same job for 8 hours.
The
so
monotony.
You want to mix it up.
Right.
Yeah, the foil capsules, they come on a big stack, and you have to slide them over the bottle as they come back, as they come past you. There's normally about 3 or 4 people doing that, and it can get pretty frantic. There's no let up.
All right. Well, what do you guys think of this?
Okay.
2018
Yeah,
Rosé.
this smells great, even from down here. I mean, it's for 2018 wine, it's holding on to its color really well.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we're trying.
This is great.
We tried the Grenache 22. We tried a Spanish Grenache. This is 28% Grenache, so not a lot of Grenache, but I think the Grenache really comes through and plays a nice role. Yeah, and to me, it's like the Spanish wine. It's got that older smell to it.
Yeah.
That more aged,
A little
herbal,
bit of mushroom.
earthy component to it. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. We don't have much of these. If you like the older wines, when you come to our tasting room, look for Darren. He'll bring out our library wine list. We have a special folder that we unveil, and you see, we got 6 bottles of this left, 10 bottles of this left. And
Nice.
you can get some
catalog,
of these, rare wines. The collector's edition.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we don't do many of the library reserve tastings now, so it's kind of an exclusive thing, but you can book that online too, with tableside service, usually me pouring, we break out some of these older wines that never make it onto the usual list.
Yeah. So you like it, Steve? Steve,
I do.
Are you
I'm
a white
enjoying
wine
this.
drinker or a red wine drinker?
Lately, it's been red.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've kind of gravitated to that. I know my wife likes the red, and I think she kind of convinced me to go more red.
Okay.
So I've been liking this one. This is good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you may open up a bar or like a sports bar.
Oh, that may. I don't know.
Maybe
that
not
I'm
with
crazy
alcohol,
enough.
but
Yeah,
like,
right,
yeah.
right. Maybe eventually. Yeah. As you know, my kids love to cook, so we might have a chef in our family someday. Their grandparents really inspired them, so maybe, I don't know. Who knows? One day they might add a little restaurant, and that may come with some drinks in the future. But I think for right now, I think it's just going to be the indoor golf for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll refer people to Sculpterra, that's for sure, if they want some wine.
There we
So
go.
if you're out there, you like indoor golf and you like wine, Sculpterra is your place.
We're really
right?
close.
Yeah.
Not too far away.
Not too far away. Probably 7 minutes away from the indoor golf place. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All
I
right.
thought it was going to be late today because my wife, I dropped my truck off to the service, and so my wife had to be my Uber, and you know how that goes sometimes. And so I was like, oh no, here we go. So we're racing, and it was 12:24 when we left the studio, and we got to here like right at 12:30. So it's about
Worked out perfectly.
6-7 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Darren, any final thoughts about Reposé before we wrap up
I
the
think
podcast?
that's tasting great.
Yeah.
Yeah, blackberry, strawberry, a little bit of mushroom. Tannin's so smooth.
Yeah. 6 years old, right? 2 and 6. 8 years old.
Yeah. 8.
8 years old.
And
You
not
said
much
6?
left.
Ooh. Yeah. 8.
8 years old. Yeah. Our
yeah.
wines can hold up.
Yeah. This is great.
This is a common question. How long can we hold on to your wines? Well, Reposé 18 is tasting great right now. I would drink this now. It can age further, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Right where it is.
Yeah.
It's at a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you everybody. This has been a really fun podcast. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Stephen,
Yeah,
for being here.
thanks for having me, Darren and Paul. Yeah.
We'll get to the animals in the vineyard next week. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, do something crazy, ask me anything, and I'll be back next week. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care.